Hey folks, my name is Ravish and welcome back to another video in this series of DevOps interviews. Now, I have a profile with me. So this person is around 21 years of experience. Yes, you heard it right, 21 years of experience. He said that he started his career around 2000-2001 and has worked on a lot of other technologies. And recently he has been moved and into DevOps and into cloud. And when I asked him like how much experience do you have in cloud, he said around 1 year of experience in cloud, and in DevOps around 2 years of experience. So that's what his experience is about. So this is around an hour long interview, and I have divided into 6 parts. So the first part that I would be talking about is Linux. So I'll be spending some good time, right around 10 to 15 minutes on Linux and asking the questions about that. After that, second would be Route 53, the DNS part, and close to 10 to 15 minutes on that as well. After that, a very small part in which I have asked him what exactly is the daily roles and responsibility, what does he do on a daily basis. After that, he was a part of a team in which they have set up Grafana, which is a monitoring tool. So I have asked question on that. So around 8 to 10 minutes on that. After that, Docker, the architecture part, around 8 minutes we have asked question on that. And after that, at the end, not at the end, after that I've asked about Git questions. He was not that much comfortable in that, so I thought of skipping it. So just 2-3 minutes on that. And after that, the last part would be the Kubernetes part for the rest. And I've dropped a few scenarios based question. He was able to answer that. So this candidate has been selected, and he has moved to the we moved him to the other round. Okay, so that would be all right. Okay, and again, I would like to request that if you're new over here and seeing me for the first time, my name is Ravish and I create content for DevOps and cloud related stuff. Kindly subscribe to the channel because it really motivates me to create more content like this. So without further ado, let's get started.
I am almost 50 years old. I was working in IT since maybe 2000. I have over 22 years of experience. Started working like technical support for Windows users, and then worked as Windows system administrator, and then moved to like configuration management and change management with IBM tools, rational tools, ClearCase and ClearQuest. And then started working with Unix, OS, Unix and Linux, and then moved to work as system admin and Linux system admin and Oracle DBA. It was a mixed role, and then moved to be as Oracle DBA, pure DBA. And then returned back to configuration management, and it started after some period of time I started working as DevOps, and this is my current role till now.
Okay, so when did you decide to move into cloud and DevOps?
Maybe over 2 years.
Okay. So your total experience is around 21 years, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. And your relevant experience in cloud?
And it's not big with cloud. Maybe you can say maybe 1 year only.
Okay,
Because my experience in DevOps is almost on premises. The deployment almost on premises.
So mostly on-prem.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So if I talk about on-prem, so how much like on-prem?
You can say 2 years.
Okay. And in DevOps?
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, in DevOps.
So in like DevOps, 1 year or 2 years or more than that?
2 years. 2 years, more than 2 years in DevOps.
Okay, so you said that you worked on Linux as well, right? You were a Linux administrator.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some time.
Okay. So we'll start from Linux then. So
Okay.
you must be writing code in bash scripting in bash or something, right?
Yeah, sometimes I have to
Okay.
write some script and bash
Okay.
scripts. Yeah.
So can you tell me the difference between bash and DOS, the disk operating system of the Windows?
Tho- Those is only for Windows. Bash is used with Linux OS. يعني there's a the big difference. يعني Bash keeps maybe history for all commands in it's recorded in some file. Uh, Bash you can run, you can keep running your maybe your command in background. Uh, you can schedule in cron tab. يعني Windows maybe has this kind but يعني not like Bash. What else يعني you can you can show all bosses and kill whatever you want in Bash. I don't have this يعني you have to use some third party in Windows to get to get the process and kill it. And Bash it's built in sub commands to use. Uh,
Okay.
what else? There's a big difference in overall.
Okay. Okay. No problem. So so when you work on Linux, right, there is something known as hard link and soft link. Do you know the difference between both of them?
Yeah, soft linking is like shortcut in Windows. It's only يعني reference to the original file. So if you delete the soft link, the original file will stay in the يعني it's still there يعني. Hard link is يعني you are linking two files and they are taking two maybe the same say, I guess the same inode and both files will take the same inode I guess uh, uh, and I guess when you delete one of them you will both will be deleted.
Okay. Okay. Uh, what do you understand by daemons in Linux?
Sorry,
Daemons in Linux.
it's like process. Daemon is a process.
Like what does it do?
يعني it's doing some job. It's responsible for to do some job. Daemon is يعني it's responsible for some running some job.
Okay, can you give me an example of it?
يعني like Docker daemon like for example
Okay, okay,
it has to be running to communicate with the application Docker application.
okay, okay, okay. So, like, what was your task in Linux? Like, why you folks were using Linux? Like, what you used to do on a daily basis?
يعني currently all our environment are running on Linux يعني Kubernetes cannot be installed on Windows. It must be installed in Linux. So I'm working with يعني Ubuntu, CentOS, sometimes Red Hat. Uh, we are using Jenkins. Jenkins is running also on Ubuntu. Kubernetes is running يعني our cluster is deployed on CentOS. We have some applications like PHP and other stuff running on Red Hat, stuff like that.
Can you explain me the architecture of Linux?
Okay, it's yeah kernel. Kernel is يعني is responsible to manage the hardware, and Z shell is in between you and or shell and uh, sorry, shell is يعني responsible to take the commands from you and to communicate to pass it to the hardware. So the shell is in the middle and يعني you have these commands like bash, and you can communicate with bash with shell.
So first of all, there is a hardware, right? So where does the kernel comes when we talk about the architecture?
Yeah, kernel is responsible to communicate with the hardware directly.
Now, where does it sit in the diagram?
يعني the يعني what is it? The base layer is the hardware, and above it kernel, and above it shell, and that's it.
Okay, and where does the library comes? The GNU C library user application, where does it come in the architecture?
It's يعني like the shell, I guess. It's same level, because GNU is another way to communicate with the kernel. Shell and GNU both you can communicate with the kernel.
Okay, what type of Linux have you used?
Uh, so many Ubuntu, CentOS, as I told you, Red Hat, SUSE, and also many flavors of Unix. Oracle Linux, it was before it was Solaris, and IBM iX, HP.
Okay,
And,
okay. So let's talk about any one of them. Let's pick CentOS. Okay. So
okay,
like let's say you have installed CentOS today, um, and then you are working on it and everything is working fine. After like 30 days or 60 days, when you do sudo yum update, it does not update. I mean,
okay.
it's not able to pull the latest updates. What could be the reason behind that, and how do you resolve that?
For CentOS almost free. You don't need to register register your OS on the internet, and it's free. Maybe Red Hat will have this issue, because you must have configure your license to have updates from official repositories. يعني. Uh, CentOS, I don't think I will face this issue. It will be fine. And if I face this issue, it's not about registration. Maybe I have some services down, and you have to check all the services, which maybe some services down. Maybe there is no internet access. Uh, Maybe DNS is not configured. Maybe gateway is not configured. Something like that. You have a connection issue mostly.
Okay, so let's say your connection is perfectly fine, your internet is working fine, and still it's not able to download the updates from sudo yum update. So what is wrong over here? It was fine till
Uh,
like 1 month ago, 2 months ago, but now it has started showing
Maybe
you error.
I face this issue when repositories are changed. يعني maybe it changed from HTTP to HTTPS. The repository is obsolete. I have to check and get the new repositories. Something like that.
Okay, okay, okay. What do you understand by swap space in Linux?
Swap space.
Yes.
يعني it's same as Windows. Both يعني it's when your memory is full and can't يعني load any more applications. It takes some physical of the physical storage. يعني it uses as additional memory to put the old applications and put the new applications, running application on the memory. So it's يعني some space of the storage of the hard disk to put the minimized or the not active applications, and load the new applications in memory to free some space for new applications. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever created a virtual machine in your local
all,
system?
all the time. Yeah, use
Okay, good,
virtual
good.
books and yeah.
Okay, so let's say in the virtual machine you have installed any kind of Linux. Okay,
Okay.
and now you want to access the terminal from your local system. So what are the things that you will do in order to access the terminal from your local system?
I have to have some application like PuTTY to communicate with Linux OS, and I have to be sure that the SH port is open on the machine itself, the virtual machine يعني. That's it, and I can communicate with it using SSH, sorry, port 22 of course.
Okay. Okay. Have you any idea about like what is rootkit infection in Linux? Any idea? Heard about it?
Yeah, rootkit يعني I think it's when it infects the hardware يعني the BIOS itself. So even if you remove the OS and install the new one, it will still get infected
Can you
with
be a
that.
bit louder, Tamir? I cannot hear you. A bit louder.
Sorry, this is okay? You
A
can
bit,
hear me okay now?
a bit better. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I'm saying that يعني rootkit is it infects at a virus that infects or يعني some kind of Trojan that infects the hardware itself. So even if you removed or uninstall the OS and install the new one, it will be still infected with the same spyware.
Okay, okay, okay. Your camera just moved. I cannot see you properly.
Hold on. Can you see me now? Okay.
I can see you, but your voice has become a bit low.
Sorry, because I dropped the.
Okay.
That's okay
Yeah,
now.
yeah, that's better. Okay. So do you know the concept of parallel ports in Linux? What do we understand by that?
If what?
Parallel ports.
I guess when you have these are like dual systems and on the same hardware, on the
How,
same machine يعني.
okay, how do you refer to them?
And there is boot manager like Lelo or some I think I don't يعني recall the names, but you have like boot managers or application that you can select between both. At the start up of the OS, you have the option to select which
There is a
OS
lot
you.
of air coming in your earphones, making it a bit. Okay, I think it's better.
No, this is connection, not from.
No, no, connection
But
is fine. I'm saying that the
you got my answer.
mic is really close to your mouth now, and all the air is coming over there. So if you can
This,
move it to the
this is
side,
okay.
then I think it would be okay.
Okay, this is okay now.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you
Okay.
got my answer.
Yeah. So can you give
Okay,
me an example of grep command? Why do we use it?
we use grep to يعني if we uh, ts-af to see the running process now, and then we can grab which process I'm searching for Docker, for example, to check if it's running uh, X يعني process, and I want to kill it. I have to grab it from the result and kill it. Also, in any text file, I can use it inside any text file with grep or egrep. If I'm searching for an exact string.
Okay. So consider a scenario in which you are the lead of all the Linux systems in your organization, and for every new person that joins in, you create a user. Okay. And you want
Okay.
to include the password policy for password aging. How will you do that?
No, so say that again, please. Sorry.
Okay, so you are a lead and you take care of a lot of Linux systems. Okay.
Okay.
And whenever
Okay.
a new person joins in your company, he asks for the permissions for those Linux environments. right?
Okay.
So you want to enforce a password aging kind of a policy in Linux. Is that possible? And if yes, how do you do it?
Actually, I didn't do that, but we can use like LDAP I mean, to centralize the authentication of all servers in the same directory. Use as any kind of LDAP, and with LDAP you can force a lot of policies for password length, strings, and some kind of, all kinds of that.
Okay, okay. So I can see in your resume that you have worked on Route 53 as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the application doing with Route 53 in your case?
I was configuring sometimes I was configuring Kubernetes on it was a يعني it was like a freelancing job, not my permanent job.
Mm-hmm.
يعني sometimes we add a new like subdomain and for the main domain to add a new service, and sometimes I use it to create a new subdomain also for Kubernetes.
Okay, so what is exactly Amazon Route 53? What does it do?
So يعني DNS resolver. It's the service that يعني Amazon gives you to register your domain and assign to a elastic IP, some static IP يعني. And then it will be accessible from anywhere with that host name. We don't need to remember the IP. That's it. That's يعني same concept of any DNS server.
Okay, so how does it actually work?
You just يعني if you want to use يعني you have some server and you running you have any running service on that server, you have to give it at the beginning you have to give it an elastic IP, static IP, and then you have to resolve to assign the host name or sorry the service name يعني to assign that service name to the elastic IP. So when you access it over internet from you don't need to type the IP, you just use the service name of that service and it will be accessible from internet from
Mm-hmm.
anywhere.
Okay, so there are multiple uh, DNS stuff available on the market like GoDaddy or something. They are providers, right? So why should I use Amazon Route 53 and not go with GoDaddy?
I think GoDaddy doesn't give you your يعني in Amazon I use my VPC or my EC2 instance to install all my OS and all my files, my application, my running application, and I have the full control on the server itself. If you are talking about the EC2 instance as a server, يعني I have the full control and SSH access to that server. But in GoDaddy, I think you just upload your files. Yeah, they are giving you some services, and you choose what service you need to use for your application. And I just publish my files, but I don't have access SSH to the server. I don't have the access to the server. The server is on their side. I just have to access to my application over like maybe FTP for specific directories or or to the application from internet. That's it.
Okay, so is your Route 53 compliant with IPv6 or not?
Yeah, yeah, both IPv version 4 and IP version 6. Yeah, but I don't. We don't use IP version 6.
Okay, so in
It's not
yeah,
commonly used. No.
sorry, you were saying something.
It's not commonly used till now. يعني for normal operations, we're still not using it. يعني maybe enterprise companies are using it, but يعني for small companies, I didn't see anyone using it till now.
Okay, okay. So when we talk about the hosted zones in Route 53, what are the types of it?
Hosted zones types?
Yeah. Any idea?
No, I can't recall that now. No,
Public
no.
and private, any idea? Public hosted zone, private hosted zone.
Yeah. Public hosted zone. It can be accessed from anywhere from internet, but maybe private hosted zone. It's accessed internally from your VPC only, not published on internet to anyone.
Okay, okay, okay. So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this answer, but this is what came in my mind.
no problem, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. So do all the queries sent through Amazon Route 53 get routed through Amazon's DNS servers?
Yeah.
All of
Exactly. Yeah.
them?
What do you mean all that? Your question is suspicious. يعني
I mean, is
any
there
any D,
so
any DNS will rely on the backbone DNS. It will go to .com or .tg or .gov, and then the main the root DNS dot. Uh, I don't understand the question. What do you mean by that?
okay, no. If you are using Route 53 right as DNS, there is an option to choose that some of your queries can be routed through the Amazon's DNS servers and some can go through Cloudflare and others. So I mean, we do have a choice.
Uh-huh. No, I didn't come to that shows. I didn't use it.
So yeah, you
Guess
can.
all my records are going to Amazon directly, not using third party.
Okay, so let's consider a scenario. There is an application, okay,
Okay.
and in order to serve requests from multiple locations, it it needs to have more than one IP address. Is that possible?
No, say that again. Sorry. You have multiple applications
No.
or
You have
multiple.
one application, but
Okay.
it has to have more than one IP address to serve requests from multiple locations. Is that possible?
Yeah, you can. I guess you can use like some load balancer to refer to this, and you can use many records, many area codes to refer to the same service name. Many IPs referring have the same area code. يعني you have many area codes with the same service name but different IPs. That's it.
Okay, so how does Amazon Route 53 helps you in this scenario?
Actually, I didn't do that, but I guess it will have some kind of load balancing between them.
Okay,
And the
okay,
default always is round robin. I guess it will use round robin to route between them.
okay. Do you know the reason why it is known as Route 53 and not some other number?
Because this is a DNS port. 53 is the default port for DNS service.
Sorry?
Because 53 is the default port for DNS service.
Okay, okay. Um, does it offer any redundancy options? Route 53?
You mean by redundancy what you said? You have many servers with
Any
so
redundancy options?
for what? For your application, redundancy for your
Yeah,
application? I don't.
if your data center goes offline, what then? Does it offer anything?
You just asked the last question. It's the answer for this question. You can use service many IPs serving the same service. So it will, if one of them goes down, you still have the others running.
Okay. We'll move on to something else. I think Route 53 is fine. Okay. Mm, so you worked on. Uh, okay. By the way, what are your daily roles and responsibilities?
We have يعني managing deployments automation for any new service added to our cluster, maintaining cluster, see if something goes wrong. We have to do يعني, all the time. We have to do some R&D to integrate new tools like monitoring tool, Prometheus, Grafana. They were trying to inject this tracing tool, Yagal. I had to do some R&D about it. Currently, we didn't deploy our cluster on production was we didn't have clustering so high availability on Kubernetes. So right now we are examining using high availability with load balancer software and hardware. We use some OTD for Oracle, and it caused some issues. So we switch it to HA proxy. We have to examine with the customer if it has bare metal load balancer. We didn't test that yet. Uh, this is all the time. Monitoring the deployments, adding new jobs to Jenkins, adding new members to the cluster, creating new Kubernetes clusters, stuff like that.
Okay. How do you monitor your applications? What is the tools? What are the tools that you use?
We have Prometheus and Grafana, but we didn't till now monitoring on the level of can say of cluster, not on the application level. Monitoring boards, monitoring nodes, stuff like that, but not monitoring the application itself. Actually, till now, we didn't come to this point.
Okay.
But I
Okay.
know it's because I need some effort from the development side to do some configuration inside the application to allow it to send logs and tracing to Prometheus and Grafana.
Okay. So you folks have used Grafana, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Uh, how do you configure alerts in Grafana?
And you have to configure what it will be integrated with with Slack with like Telegram with email stuff like that. It gives
No,
you the
I'm
option
asking about the
to
process. How do you configure process? From where do you go exactly and configure the alerts?
from setting. I don't memorize it have setting alerts, and you can go to configure what is the tool you will to integrate to send alerts to and so on.
Okay, can you talk me about the alert rules that we have?
Uh, mm,
What kind of alerts you have set up till now? Any idea?
actually, I didn't. I use it for because this is it's a development environment. We not not critical. So I didn't configure rules, but I know it has allowing rules for availability of nodes. If maybe for if some nodes had reached some level of CPU of memory, monitoring boards. If some boards goes down, it will give an alert for that. If the node completely goes down, it will give alert for that. But actually, I didn't configure them. I didn't need to configure them. I just using to general monitoring, not for alerting.
Okay, okay.
As I told you, it's a development environment at the end, not production, not
So
test. Yeah.
you have combined Prometheus and Grafana together.
Yeah, it was like a stack. Already on GitHub, I both configured together. But
Okay,
yeah, not for long. It's not connected to like Elasticsearch to keep the logs. So it keeps logs for maybe like 24 hours only. plus 24 hours.
So like whatever it is shown on Grafana dashboards, where is this data coming from?
From Prometheus, and
Prometheus.
Prometheus is getting, yeah, but yani, this Prometheus logs are getting from Prometheus is not saved in somewhere like Elasticsearch or something. It's only in I think it's like in memory database for Prometheus. So it will be overwritten after like 24 hours. And I didn't need more than that because as I told you it's a development environment we are using, not production. In production I will have to configure of course some kind of database to keep long term logging or stuff like that, yeah.
Okay, how do you send this logs to Grafana?
يعني Grafana, you can configure what is the source to get the information from. You have many sources like Grafana online, like Prometheus, like many things. You just use Prometheus and you configure what is the IP of that Prometheus server, what is the port, and what is the what is the credentials, and you test connection. It's okay. خلاص, it's done. It's configured. It's
Okay.
very easy. Yeah.
Okay, let's consider a scenario in which I have a basic Java web application. Okay.
Okay.
And it is producing some kind of logs after the test, the Selenium test. Okay. I want to see these Selenium test in Grafana. What would be my process? How would I go about it?
Yeah, taking a very advanced scenario I didn't use before, but يعني I can imagine.
I would like to know the approach, no problem, if you do not know the exact answer. What would you do? Like approach.
Yeah, yes, the Selenium will be testing the running application after build and deployment. Selenium will be testing the application on the test server, right? So we and it will be Grafana will be configured to monitor the test server, the application on the test server, and send logs about it, about the running application after it's up and running.
Okay, so where would we put this logs? In local or in some kind of database or some kind of files? How would we do it, and how would we read it from Grafana?
I told you Grafana is just visualizing. It doesn't store anything. It's
Yeah,
getting
but
its information from like Prometheus or and it has many options. I don't memorize them, but يعني, what I remember is Grafana online and Prometheus. So يعني, the server has to be connected to some logging tool like Prometheus or whatever, and Grafana just connected to that server to visualize the logging the logs.
okay. Okay. Um, let's move to Docker. You folks are using Docker, right, in your projects?
Yeah, what we have to finally have to use to try some other tools, but finally we settled to use plugin CRI Docker to keep using Docker, and this CRI Docker to keep يعني the integration with Kubernetes, because starting 1.24 Kubernetes doesn't support Docker directly anymore.
Okay. Okay. So what was the underlying problem that Docker was trying to resolve, or now we can say has resolved?
Docker
Yes.
oh يعني the very old problem was with all developers. يعني he writes an application and deploy it manually and configure all the dependencies from libraries, exact Java version, stuff like that, and it's running perfectly on his machine. But when he sends the code to be deployed on the server, it's failing because it doesn't find the dependencies libraries, the packages. Maybe the Java installed on the server is different. So it will face many issues in deployment. But now, no, it's يعني all application with all its the dependencies are stored in an image called Docker image, and this image will run independently on any OS regardless of OS, because it's only relying on the kernel of the host and running as a container with the application with all its dependencies. So you won't find any issue to run your application anywhere. Your application is portable. You can say it's portable to run on any other server without any issues. You don't need to worry about dependencies, different Java version, different OS, stuff like that. If it's image is based on like Ubuntu, for example, it will keep running on Ubuntu, and even if you run it on Red Hat, on the host has Red Hat, has whatever Linux OS.
Okay.
This is the main problem. Docker solve it.
Okay. Okay. Do you know the difference between C group and namespaces?
It's namespaces. It's used in Linux, and it's used in Kubernetes also. To separate. I will talk about Kubernetes. You can separate. You can have multiple services running in a specific name service, and you have another name service running different services, and they don't. I'm talking about network. There is no connectivity between any of them. They don't conflict with each other, and you can give access to some people to some namespace, and they don't see the other the service running on any other namespace. And C group is we just configure it for use Docker, because if you are not in this C group, you cannot run Docker. The user have to be on that C group to run Docker. And commonly we use Docker group and add it as a secondary group for the user to be able to run Docker commands.
Okay. Okay. What exactly is hypervisor? And what is the
hypervisor
and the functionality
is a visualization. Hypervisor is a visualization for Windows. Microsoft use it for visualization. I use it sometimes, but on my local machine, to run virtual machines on my local machine.
And what is the functionality of it?
Visualization like VirtualBox and like this window. I don't remember. It's, what is it? But it's for creating virtual machines on Windows machines. You can create any Linux or any OS you want on a Windows machine.
Okay, so let's say there is a container, okay, and it's into like not getting used, kind of paused state. So can it be removed from Docker?
No, say that again. You have container running container.
Not running, paused. Not running.
Okay.
Paused. Can it be removed from the container?
You have to stop it first, and then you have to delete the container. You
Yes,
can delete.
in stopped it can, but if it's in pause state, can you remove it?
No, I have to. I told you have to stop it first, and then you can delete the container.
Okay, so
because if both the state is يعني almost like running state, it's still reserving some memory and stuff like that from the host.
okay, so whenever you use write a Docker file, you use commands like copy and add. What's the difference between both of them?
And in the Docker file, you mean when in the Docker file,
Yeah.
add will يعني to add files from the يعني current directory. This is what I'm doing يعني for the workspace of the code of the when you build the code locally, uh, you have to add this workspace into the to load it into the Docker or Docker image or the container, and later you will use this code to be built. Copy is to copy maybe from outside this workspace and put it inside the container.
Okay, 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 okay. Consider a scenario. So there is a Docker container running. Okay, fine. And we
Okay.
have an application running. Let's consider Jenkins. Okay, you heard about
Okay.
Jenkins, right?
Yeah, I'm using it all the time. I told you I'm
Okay,
using
great, great.
automation.
So there's a Jenkins application running in that container. Everything is going perfectly all right. Okay.
Okay.
And somehow the system got restarted, and now you are not able to see the jobs and the configuration that you did. What could be the reason behind this?
Uh, if you want to use something like Jenkins, you have to use the persistent volume to keep the data after the container is restarted. Because if you didn't use persistent volume, so all your data will be lost. Once the container is terminated, all the data on it will be terminated also. If you want to use something like database like Jenkins, something that has persistent data, you have to use persistent volume to mount some volume on the host, for example, and use it, mount it inside the container. So whenever the container is restarted, or maybe يعني actually recreated, it will mount the same volume and يعني read the same data. So your data will be still there.
Okay, okay. So have you ever used logging in Docker?
Logging
Logging, yes.
for what? I'm not يعني not sure
Okay,
what.
there is something known as daemon level and something known as container level. Have you heard about
No,
it? Info,
no, I
error,
don't.
debug, fatal, anything about that?
No, I didn't use it because
Okay.
actually I told you I'm using Docker just for Kubernetes. So I'm doing all this stuff from Kubernetes. يعني getting pod logs, يعني investigating the issue. I get shell inside the pod and see what's happening, or run Kubernetes logs dash f to see the live logging as I'm getting يعني console in the board to see what's happening. But I'm not using on the Docker level. But I guess يعني it's almost the same. يعني maybe the commands are the same.
Okay.
You whatever you use with kubectl, you can use with Docker. Uh, but I'm not using all the time. Not using on the Docker level. I'm using on the Kubernetes level.
Okay. Okay. Um, okay, one more question from Docker. What is the difference between entry point and CMD?
Uh, entry point, you can select some shell to run at the beginning of the whenever this like a startup application, or when
Okay.
the container starts. CMD it will run, but not at the startup. It will run later during the container is running, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
But entry point, this is what يعني what will be the start point of the container. If I'm remembering good. I'm not sure actually.
Okay, no problem. So what kind of source code management you folks are using?
Sorry.
Source code management. What are you using?
We were using before all Git. We were using before Bitbucket with Jira, but now we are moved to Azure DevOps. But both are Git, and I'm using for personal use. I'm using GitHub, so all Git. We were using some SVN before, but it's, it's not as good as Git, of course. So everyone is using Git for sure.
Okay. So what is the difference between Git and GitHub?
Git is يعني the mechanism يعني what I can say is the mechanism of how the branches are created, the merge are happening. This is a concept, and we have many bad tools or many vendors like GitHub, like Bitbucket, like Azure DevOps, like GitLab. All are using the same concept for Git.
Okay. Consider a scenario in which you have done a wrong commit. Okay. And
Okay.
when your code went into the production, it's not running fine. So how will you go back? How will you revert the previous commit in Git?
Actually, I don't use there is a Git revert to, but what we do actually we don't use it. What I do, I just use a previous commit and create a new branch from it, and then deploy from the old from this new branch. See the previous commit, create a branch from this commit, and deploy from this created branch. This is actually what I'm doing. I don't use Git revert.
Okay. Have you ever used cherry pick?
Yeah, this is when you use a specific commit to merge it to another branch. If you use normal merge, it will actually normally it will use a last commit. But if you want to use a previous specific commit, use cherry pick to commit it to another branch.
Okay.
Or
Oh,
sorry, merge it to another branch. Yeah.
okay. When should I use git stash?
This is when I don't use it, but I think it's used when you are doing some code locally, changing some code locally, and you want it to stash it to be prepared to be committed later. I guess. But I don't use it. I will just commit and push if I'm changing any configuration files. I don't write code. I just change configuration files. Or whenever I change, commit and push. Or add if I'm adding a new files.
Okay. So you are using Kubernetes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain me what exactly is happening at your end in Kubernetes?
You know what is the cycle we are using for the build and deployment? This is what you are asking
No,
about,
not the
yani?
cycle. Like what you folks are doing with Kubernetes? How are you using it?
I am the يعني I installed the cluster from scratch, installed the control plane or the master, and joined the nodes, and then I configure it with Jenkins to deploy any deployment will be deployed as new pods on some specific namespace. And I create namespaces for different projects, so each project has its own namespace and all its services or applications installed as pods, not as pods as I create all of the time. I create deployments to keep replicas maybe even if it's one, but I use it as a deployment to for يعني, recreation for the pod if it fails or crashed. I create the services responsible to access these applications, created as cluster IB if it's in يعني it have to be communicated internally in the cluster, and I create a node port if it must be يعني accessed from outside the cluster. That's it.
Okay, can you explain me the architecture of it?
Architecture for what? For Kubernetes?
Yes.
What do you mean by the architecture of Kubernetes?
I mean the part
Kubernetes is
of it. Like there are components inside, right?
yeah. You mean the kube proxy, the kubelet,
Ha 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 ha. Yes.
that's I don't I don't memorize these components, but I يعني kube proxy is يعني is responsible for scheduling. Sorry, kube schedule is responsible for يعني scheduling any new pod. Kubelet is يعني responsible for taking commands from the API, which sent with kubectl. Cube admin is only running on control plane. It's I use it to initialize the cluster at the beginning. Cube proxy is when if you want to expose service outside the cluster, maybe for internet, to be exposed by port 8080, not like node port normal load range of node port 30,000 to 32,000 something. What else? You can I don't memorize the components. Maybe you can say the component and I will say what is the function of it.
Okay. Okay. Let's consider a scenario in which I have a job that supposed to be finished within 5 minutes. Okay. And
Okay.
sometimes for some reason it takes around 10 minutes. How can I make sure to stop the application before it exceeds 5 minutes?
Stop the application before it exceeds.
You
You want
got
to
the
kill
question
the
right. You got the question right.
so you want to kill the pod after 5 minutes, right?
No, I'm not saying I want to kill it. I'm saying I am running a job which was supposed to complete in 5 minutes, but sometimes it takes 10 minutes. How can I make sure to
Okay.
stop if the application exceeds more than 5 minutes? Is there any measure for that? I mean, what would you do and how would you do it?
There's some node affinity, but not affinity. Oh, this is not about node affinity. No, I can't think of something right now.
Okay, no problem, no problem. So, how are you packaging your Kubernetes applications?
We are using Maven all the time. Use Docker build to create the Docker image, and that's it. I mean, Kubernetes Jenkins will load the new Docker image into the cluster.
Okay, so consider your application pod. Okay, and there is one more, like it's a entire architecture, and you have a different for database pod. Okay, how will you connect both of them?
You said database pod. What is application pod?
Yes, there are two pods. So,
Okay,
how will you connect both of them?
just you create its connection is two-way. Database is connecting to the application, or only the application is getting data from the database. If it's one way, application is getting data from database, so I have to create a cluster IB, service cluster IB with the type cluster IB for the database to for the application to access it, to be able to access it.
Okay.
If
Uh,
it's two-way, I have to create two services for both, and for the application, but both in any way, both will be cluster IP because it's not accessible from outside the cluster.
okay. Consider a scenario your application pod is running. Okay, and this pod
Okay,
is using a config map, which you just updated. Okay, and you want the
okay.
container to be updated with whatever changes that you did. How will you do it?
Uh, I guess I don't need to do anything. The idea of config map is to be updated automatically. Configuration will be reload automatically in the pod. Otherwise, I'm not sure. Otherwise, I have to delete the pod and create. It will be created again to load the new config map.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I'm not sure. يعني, the idea of config map is to be loaded automatically inside the pod. So many from what I'm thinking, it's I don't need to do anything. So it should be this is the idea of config map. The pod, if it's not load automatically, then I will have to destroy the pod and to be created again, even automatic or manual, to load the new config map, the new configurations يعني from the config map.
Okay. Okay. Consider a scenario in which you want to do some maintenance to the pod. Okay, whatever pod you were running, you are doing some maintenance, and traffic is
Okay,
coming to that pod. How will you drain the traffic?
you, you drain the traffic on the node level, not on the pod level, or you can create يعني if this is a deployment. If
Sorry.
this is a deployment, if this is a يعني this is a single يعني application running on single pod with only one pod.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
يعني if this is a deployment, I can يعني scale up to maybe to two pods, so the investigate the pod. It will be يعني the traffic will go to the other pod, but it will يعني to investigate it. I'm not sure. You are investigating on the level what? Which level? On the pod level or the node level? If it's on a node level, you can drain the node, so it will automatically move all the pods from this node to another node, and you can do whatever you want on, but it would evict the pods on this node. If you want to examine the pod itself, you have to يعني scale up the deployment for this يعني for this application to have another bot, and you can do whatever you do with the running bot, the first bot you are using, because the traffic whatever whenever there's something wrong with your bot, the traffic will go to the new bot.
Okay. Okay. So your application is like one pod, one container, or one pod, multiple containers?
You mean in my environment?
Your yeah,
All I want
your current
one
application.
all application يعني one container, one pod contains one only container.
So
No multiple containers.
one container, one pod.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah,
Consider a scenario in which I have a pod and there are 4 containers inside it. Is that possible? Multiple containers are possible.
yeah,
Okay.
but not with the same not with the same type. يعني you can't two containers, two database containers in the same pod. Uh, this is not يعني not doable يعني. And this is very real when you add more than one container inside the same pod.
Okay. Okay. So consider a scenario in which I have a pod and there are 4 containers running inside it. I want a few specific, I want a specific container to start before the another one. I have an order. So is that possible?
Guess yeah, this is when you put this order in the YAML file for for that application.
Okay, do you know how to do it?
I told you in the YAML file you put them by order in the YAML file for that application, and then they will start by this order you put in the YAML file.
Okay.
Because this containers is like an array. It will it will run them يعني by order. First one it will be the first container. Second one is the second container. This is what I understand. This is the purpose of array.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done.